Hare Krishna and welcome, my dear friends, to this sacred space where we embark on a journey of spiritual enrichment and inspiration. I am deeply honored to have you join me today as we delve into the timeless pages of one of our authored books to recite a beautiful spiritual pastime. Within the pages of this book lies a tapestry of stories, a tapestry woven with the threads of devotion, wisdom, and love. The pastime I'm about to share holds a special place in my heart, and I believe it has the power to touch yours as well. As the words flow from the lips, let them be a bridge that connects us beyond the physical realm, transcending time and space. Let's remember that these stories are not just tales of the past, but living embodiments of eternal truths that resonate even today. Hare Krishna.
About 500 years ago, the state of Bengal was ruled by Nawab Hussain Shah. Nawab Hussain Shah was the incarnation of King Jarasandha, who had conspired and fought numerous wars against Krishna in Dwapara Yuga. The magistrate unto whom the administration of Nabadwip was then entrusted was known as Chand Kazi. Kazi translates to magistrate in English. Chand Kazi was the incarnation of King Kans, Krishna's maternal uncle. The residence of Chand Kazi was not very far from the house of Srivas Pandit. Chand Kazi also happened to be the spiritual counselor of Nawab Hussain Shah. Now, the atheistic envious Hindus, who were not allowed into Srivas Angan to witness the ecstatic dancing Sankirtana pastimes of Lord Caitanya, and who spent their entire days criticizing the Lord and his dear associates, conspired and complained to Chand Kazi that Sri Chaitanya had introduced a system of Sankirtana which had no reference in any of the Hindu scriptures. Their silly argument was that the holy name of God is the most powerful hymn, and if everyone heard it and chanted it, then the potency of the hymn would gradually become lost. These people were so foolish that they didn't understand that the holy name of the Lord possesses his all-powerful potency. Just as the Supreme Lord is inexhaustible and all-auspicious, similarly his inexhaustible holy name has descended into this material world to rescue one and all, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion or any such considerations. Besides, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra finds its reference in the Kali Santarna Upanishad and several Puranas. The chanting of this holy name is concluded by sage Narada as the only means of deliverance in this age of Kali. Anyways, taking these complaints into account and being very envious himself, Chand Kazi entered Srivas Angan one day and threatened the devotees who were then blissfully engaged in performing Sankirtana. He grabbed the mridang from one of the devotees' hands and smashed it onto the ground. Thereafter he proclaimed that anyone caught performing Sankirtana henceforth would have their property confiscated and be forced to convert to Islam. From then onwards, Srivas Angan became renowned as Khol Bhanga Danga, or the land where mridang or khol of the devotees were broken. What followed is a very beautiful pastime that is exceedingly difficult to be expressed in mere words. After learning from the devotees about what had happened, Lord Caitanya became furious. The Lord announced that he would organize a massive Sankirtana that evening and take it all over Nabadwip. On his orders, lakhs of people came with their torches and assembled outside the residence of Lord Caitanya at Yogpeet. Everyone had prepared their own torch and barrels of oil were ready to keep them lit. After meeting all, the Lord organized the devotees into several groups. Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, Srivas Pandit, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda Datta, Ramai Pandit, Vakreshwar Pandit, Jagdanand Pandit, etc. were all present. Then, as if by the order of Providence, the lakhs of torches were lit up simultaneously, dispelling the darkness that had engulfed the town Nabadwip. Words are not enough to describe that mystical sight. Never before had such a unique mass Sankirtana been organized. The Lord and his devotees began dancing, soaring to newer and newer heights of ecstasy. The beauty of the Lord defeated that of millions of cupids. His hairs were decorated by a string of malati flowers and his beautiful body, adorned with the markings of tilak, glowed like a golden mountain. As the Sankirtana proceeded, more and more people left their houses and joined in. The rhythmic dance was well complemented by the thousands of torches which also moved in an animated fashion. The street was strewn with puffed rice and coins which the delighted citizens had showered upon the passing procession. During this marvelous pastime, the residents of Nabadwip assumed the same characteristics as the residents of Vaikuntha. Each one of them manifested 4 arms, but because they were so engrossed in Sankirtana, they didn't notice this transformation in their bodies. Even the demigods, along with their associates, mingled into the procession, dressing up as humans. The procession gradually proceeded from Mahaprabhu Ghat to Madhai Ghat to Barakona Ghat to Nagariya Ghat to Simulya and finally to the Kazi's house. On reaching the Kazi's house, Lord Caitanya madly searched for the Kazi and demanded that he be brought outside. Meanwhile, the spies of the Kazi had already informed him of the arriving mass Sankirtana party. Being very afraid, the Kazi sat trembling at one corner of his house. The devotees brought the Kazi out of his home. Calming down, Lord Caitanya began conversing with him. After a long conversation, the Kazi was finally defeated. One very interesting thing that the Kazi revealed during the conversation was that he had dreamt of Lord Nrsimhadev that very night, in which he had threatened the devotees and broken their mridanga. Lord Nrsimhadev had warned him not to repeat such actions, or else he along with his family and all other people like him would be vanquished. The Kazi even showed the marks of Lord Nrsimhadev's nails on his chest, to the amazement of all present. At the end of their discussion, the Kazi touched the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya and humbly prayed that his consciousness be forever fixed upon him. He also loudly proclaimed that henceforward neither the Kazi nor any member of his family or any of his future descendants shall ever be an obstacle to the Lord Sankirtana movement. In fact, if any of his descendants ever disobeyed his orders, then they shall be disinherited from his family. Hearing the Kazi's beautiful words, all the devotees loudly chanted Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Actually, Chand Kazi is an eternal associate of the Lord, and he just played his part to enable the Lord reveal his sublime pastimes. If Chand Kazi hadn't been there, then we would not have had the opportunity to read and relish about the transcendental mass Sankirtana that had graced the holy land of Nabadwip. The Samadhi of Chand Kazi, situated a few kilometers from the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, is a sacred site of worship for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. In fact, the Chanpaka tree that shelters the Samadhi of Chand Kazi is more than 500 years old. Though this tree is hollow from inside, yet strangely it produces and showers nice flowers, which are perhaps its offerings unto this stalwart personality.